The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the soul of excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
30 days now into this government shutdown, the White House announcing a plan to cover paychecks for U.S. troops that will come due tomorrow. Meantime, tensions flaring on the Senate floor. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, the top Republican in that chamber, shouting at Democrats as he blocked a bill that would fund critical federal SNAP food assistance that's set to expire in just 2 days. Thune calling on Democrats to, instead of propose that legislation, vote to reopen the government instead entirely.
SNAP recipients shouldn't go without food. People should be getting paid in this country. And we've tried to do that 13 times. And you voted no 13 times. This isn't a political game. These are real people's lives that we're talking about.
Some 42 million Americans are set to lose SNAP food assistance when it expires at the end of this week. And that will come on the same day that Obamacare open enrollment is set to begin, when some 20 million Americans will see their insurance premiums more than double on average. Democrats have said they'd be willing to vote to reopen the government if Republicans negotiated with them on that issue. And so far, Republicans have refused, saying that they won't negotiate while the government is shut down.
Don't negotiate with extortionists, hostage takers. Welcome, my friends, to the Thursday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. Today we're expecting to have a brief chat with Kayleigh McEnany if all goes well. She was the recipient of an award that was it's a profound award, actually, and we'll speak with her about that. Other things in the news, I've been so focused on the upcoming elections, on the government shutdown, on the rebellion of the beneficiaries, which is the SNAP beneficiaries who are protesting a potential loss of benefits. And there are other things that are going on, too, in addition to all of those things. Here's one thing. Election day is really approaching. I want to get this done first. So we here at Red Apple Media are asking you to sound off on the big issues that impact all of us voters this election day. And so from now until election day, you can go to redappleaudionetworks.com/election and you can vote there on the issues of the day. Some of the issues we're talking about: crime, cost of living, transportation, anti-Semitism, all of it. There's a question that we're raising today: how important is fighting crime and empowering the police? Cuomo has said that he wants to add 5,000 officers to the New York City Police Department to restore staffing levels. Mamdani wants social and mental health workers. On social workers to respond to crimes involving mentally unstable people. What do you think? You can go again to redappleaudionetworks.com/election and place your vote there. One of the things that has come up today is that, and this is so unexpected for me, it was unexpected. The Washington, that's the way Newt Gingrich said, Washington Post. The Washington Post has an editorial about the government shutdown. The Washington Post. These people, ladies and gentlemen, are the ones during his first term that had 30 some odd reporters, if memory serves me correctly, 30 some odd reporters assigned to tracking Donald Trump, and every day the pages of that newspaper during his entire first term were filled with nothing but, well, maybe an occasional piece, but for the most part, nothing but TDS stories. Trump Deranged. It was one of the most Trump deranged publications probably in history. The Washington Post today has an editorial. The mucky mucks, the big mucky mucks at the big Washington Post got together in the editorial board meeting, or however they do it. Maybe they do it electronically, and they decided that jointly they would issue a statement, an editorial on the government shutdown. And they say that a turning point in the government shutdown, piecemeal bills are a waste of time. Just fund the whole government. One reason they begin the partial government shutdown is dragged on for nearly a month is because most Americans have felt no discernible impact on their daily life. I have been making that point. I even went so far to ask members of the staff, have they felt anything from the government shutdown? And people like our very own good Carl said, nope, life goes on just as usual. But that's starting to change, says the Washington Post. This weekend, federal food stamps are scheduled to stop going out. Around 42 million people, or 1 in 8 Americans, receive benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. This pain point, combined with 3 other dynamics. Folks, this is the punchline of the whole editorial. You could wrap it up here if they wanted to. This pain point, combined with 3 other dynamics, should help hasten an end to the shutdown as early as next week by making Democrats blink. Yes. Damn. Democrats, one of your media leaders, the New York Times, the Washington Post, are the 2 biggest journalistic outlets, if you want to call them that, in the country that Democrats rely on as allies. One of them has broken, the Washington Post, which is by far in Washington, D.C., the most influential newspaper. The Washington Post is saying, look, this thing with SNAP, along with 3 other dynamics, should help in this shutdown by making the Democrats blink, by making Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and these Democrats stop this foolishness, in other words. First, they say the open enrollment period for purchasing health insurance starts Saturday. Many people will experience sticker shock when they see how much their premiums are about to go up. Democrats will be able to claim they got their point across about the need to rescue Obamacare by extending subsidies that are set to expire. Second, Democrats are favored to win next Tuesday's off-year elections. If they prevail in New Jersey, which I hope, and Virginia, which I hope both of them go to Republicans, as well as the New York mayor's race. You should see the polls in that thing. Boy, there's some BS polls out here today. All of a sudden, Mondami goes from a 10-point advantage. He's leading by 25%. Oh, don't believe it. This is designed to depress people that want to vote for anyone else. Anyway, Democrat leaders, they say, could save face by claiming that the people sent a loud message to Donald Trump. Senate Minority Leader Charles E. Schumer, affectionately known here as Chuck U. Schumer, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries are both New Yorkers who fear the Mondami wing of the party. And boy, did they just lay that out there, because that's what this is all about. Neither Jeffries or Schumer wants to look like they caved, because they got these radical commie socialists in New York to deal with. And the New York Times just admitted it. Speaker Johnson's been saying this all along, as well as other Republicans. Schumer has allowed the shutdown to drag on, says the Washington Post, because he's worried about fending off a primary challenger in 2028. And he's still smarting from blowback he got from angry liberals after he agreed to fund the government this spring. If Democrats have electoral wins, the Washington Post says that can offer a pretext to claim vindication or at least quietly give permission for a few of his members to break ranks. They are putting this all on the Democrats because the Democrats are the ones who shut down the government. The third reason they say it's time for the Democrats to blink and end this stupid shutdown is because federal public employee unions, a core Democratic constituency, are losing patience. The American Federation of Government Employees, which represents more than 800,000 federal and D.C. government workers, said in a statement Monday that the shutdown is unacceptably hurting its members. It's time to pass a clean continuing resolution and end this shutdown today, said AFGE National President Everett Kelly. No half measures, no gamemanship. In other words, everybody's telling the Democrats now, hey, you lost this. Stop the games. Washington Post ends their op-ed by saying Kelly's message shows why it's untenable for Democrats to insist on a piecemeal approach to fund certain programs such as food stamps while keeping federal workers furloughed. Air traffic controllers, for instance, just missed their first full paycheck of the shutdown, even though they're required to keep working. And basically, Washington Post is done with it, folks. They're telling the Democrats, stop this. They're telling Chuck U. Schumer, put your political problems aside for the good of what they think is the party, let alone the nation. We shall see whether Democrats will listen or not. The voices of disquiet are mounting. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media continues. Do not go away.
Rush. This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network. If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
I ain't gonna lie. If I was Trump, I would have took EBT stamps and all the other benefits away from y'all freaky bum ass a long time ago. Y'all want to cry and complain, sit around and make all these kids. Y'all don't want to work. Y'all want to blame everybody else for your problems. Y'all want to call the president racist and at the same time want him to come and do for you. And every time he do some for you that benefits you, you still say, oh, that doesn't matter, he's racist. Yeah, I would have took stamps and everything else away from y'all freaky bum ass a long time ago because y'all deserve nothing.
The arguments are still raging across social media with November 1st approaching. You know, I saw something, Carlos, I don't know whether you're going to get this or not because you have to be around political history. People are suggesting that on November 1st, if indeed the food stamps, the EBT stuff, it does happen, and EBT benefits are removed for some people, that people call it No Queen's Day. Do you know why they're making that suggestion, Carlos? I'll tell you why, and members of your generation. Back in the early 80s, welfare was everywhere, not as bad, but even then, people were talking about welfare. And the term that came up was, why are Americans paying for welfare queens? Women who just sit home, collect welfare, have more babies, collect more welfare, and it's like, stop with the welfare queens. So a number of people now online are suggesting that November 1st be called No Queen's Day. James Golden, Snerdley here with you. When we get back, we're going to talk about Arctic frost. Ted Cruz went on the warpath, and others are joining him. What happened under the Biden administration, subpoenaed out for 430 Republican lawmakers, aides, donors, and groups associated with Republicans. There was a massive witch hunt led by Jack Smith, led by Joe Biden, and now it's all coming out, and there are calls for impeachment of the judge involved. Don't go away. We'll be back.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I turned off news altogether.
I hate to say it, but I don't trust much of anything.
It's the rage bait.
It feels like it's trying to divide people.
If we got clear facts, maybe we can calm down a little.
NBC News brings you clear reporting. Let's meet at the facts. Let's move forward from there. NBC News, reporting for America.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
You know, folks, there is so much discord, so much antagonism, and dare I say, so much hatred in this world, that sometimes we lose sight of the good, the extremely good, the wonderful, and we can lose sight of all the blessings. There is a group called the Good Counsel Homes. You can find them at goodcounselhomes.org. Here's what they do. They offer life skills, training, counseling, education opportunities, babysitting services for new and expectant mothers. In some cases, they take women that are homeless, who are pregnant, off the street, bring them in, give them a place of comfort, of love, and of hope. They are love warriors. And this year, they honored a person that we've spoken with ages and ages ago. She's just wonderful. And she also has a strong background besides her political life. In fact, you can go online and you can see the speech that she gave, the talk that she gave when she was given an award this year. It is the Father Benedict Groeschel Award at their annual dinner for the Good Counsel Homes. And that person is Kaylee McEnany. Kaylee, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Bo. So great to join you. It's wonderful to be on the airwaves with you.
Thank you. Kaylee, you blew my mind. I watched as much as I could the portions of your remarks. And when you received an award for all that you do with your stance on supporting life, and you spoke about two things, and Kaylee was so profound. You talked about the intersection in your life, the crossroad that you have between your political worldview and your spiritual worldview. And I would just love if you can just take a minute and explain what you meant by that to people?
Yeah, Bo, this would be no surprise to you. You know I'm a Rush baby, and, we both hold Rush Limbaugh with great affection in our hearts. And, my dad growing up, he would always say, "What's your worldview, Kaylee? What's your worldview?" And I'd like, "Dad, why does he say this worldview thing?" I grew up in this small town, Plant City, Florida, the world's strawberry capital. And, I was around a lot of like-minded people. And I realized when I left my home exactly what my worldview was when I went off to these college campuses, encountered people who thought differently. And for me, that political worldview was framed by listening to Rush Limbaugh and my dad's truck all of those years. It made me a conservative. It made me engaged in the political process. And then I had my faith worldview, which is the most important worldview that I have. And that's, informed by the preachings of Jesus Christ and me giving my life to Christ in my Southern Baptist church and being a Christian. And it occurred to me that the intersection of my political worldview and my faith worldview was the issue of life. It is the issue of protecting the unborn. It's something that Scripture speaks to so clearly. God loves the unborn. He knows the very number of hairs on our head. And it animated my love for politics in a very special way, in a faith-oriented way. And, the issue of life has really been seminal to my journey in politics.
And that is something that it apparently has been recognized. Would you just say a few words about the good counsel homes? I think that this, as I said at the open, we are surrounded, especially in the news business now, you and I and so many others, we're surrounded by negativity. From the moment that you start engaging in the news till the moment you decide I have to shut it out for the day. Very few opportunities in the news. There are some, but very few opportunities to dwell on the positive. And so for a minute, can you just speak about the work that they do over at Good Counsel Homes?
Yeah, they do great work providing homes and resources for women in very vulnerable, tough situations. We know the data bears this out. You can look at any number of polls that a great majority of women who have had abortions felt coerced into doing so or felt like they didn't have the financial resources and the support in order to have that baby. They love their baby. Mothers want to keep their babies, but a lot of women don't feel like they have the ability to do that. And Good Counsel Homes provides them with resources, home, shelter, food, and supports women through that journey. And it's such an important idea because, as a political party, we always hear pro-life and pro-choice, but we have to love the mother as much as we love the baby. We have to. These are women in very tough situations. I remember going down to San Antonio, Texas, and going to a pro-life pregnancy clinic, and they said that the number one thing they hear from women is, "I'm hungry." There are women who come in who haven't eaten and they're pregnant, and that's unimaginable. So supporting these women, allowing them to have a true choice by providing them with resources from good-hearted people like Good Counsel Homes, there's really nothing more important.
And you are so deserving of this award for all that you do. Kaylee, I know time is short, but when you have more time, I'd like you to come back and spend some time with us, and let's catch up on some political stuff. But I just love your heart. I love your message. I love what you're out here doing. Kaylee, you have been a true love warrior ever since you emerged. And I just pray and hope that you continue to find all of the success that you deserve.
Thank you. And that's what it's all about. The political rhetoric can get hot between the two parties, but at the end of the day, we're all Americans. We're here to love one another. I'm here to spread the gospel message. That's my mission and my chief purpose. And it's just great to hear your voice, Snerdley. I've known you for a long time. I grew up listening to you.
Thank you, Kelly. And it seems like I've known you for a short but long time. You have just emerged and just keep on going. So thank you for joining us, Kelly.
Let's do this again soon. I'm about to join our Fox News team on the 5, but let's do it again soon.
Have a good time. Talk with you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
James Golden, Snerdley with you. I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, that this fight now over Arctic storm is rising, and I want to get to some of that today. Let us check in with Ted Cruz. And folks, Judge Boasberg was one of those figures. You remember this Trump term. Every time he could get, he was doing and making motions to try to thwart Donald Trump. This goes a long way back. He was involved in this business, this Arctic storm, this Arctic frost operation. subpoenas sent to 34 individuals, 163 businesses, targeting communications tied to more than 430 Republican lawmakers, aides, donors, and their organizations, all of this under Joe Biden, under Jack Smith. And this judge deeply involved. Here is Ted Cruz, that's Cut 10, speaking about it at a press conference that was held yesterday.
I am right now calling on the House of Representatives to impeach Judge Boasberg. Judge Boasberg put his robe down, stood up, and said, "Sign me up to be part of the partisan vendetta against 20% of the Republicans in the Senate." That is a dereliction of duty and a violation of the judicial oath. And I want to thank Chairman Grassley and Chairman Johnson for pursuing this tenaciously like a dog on a bone. We are going to get the answers of every person who signed off on this abuse of power, and mark my words, there will be accountability for these zealots who wanted to corrupt the Department of Justice and corrupt the judiciary in order to try to attack their enemies list.
Judge Boasberg was involved in signing these subpoenas to go after Republicans, to Jack Smith, this whole thing. The more you learn about it, and folks, I realize, okay, it's not happening today. This was all in the past, but this is everything that we were outraged about as it was unfolding. And now we're finding out the enormity of this campaign by Joe Biden to use the Justice Department, to use judges, to use every enemy that they could find, to use our legal system to attack not only Donald Trump, but elected Republicans, the donors, the people who supported Trump. This was a massive effort. Here is Senator Eric Schmidt. We have two from Eric Schmidt. We will play them back to back, folks. Here is Eric Schmidt talking about Jack Smith, and then he will go on to talk about Judge Boasberg. Cut number 11 and 12, Carlos.
3 days after President Trump announced he was running for president, this system was weaponized against him. Jack Smith, who is notorious in prosecutor world as being a Stalin-like, show me the man, I'll show you the crime prosecutor. That's the guy you appoint when you want to get your political opponent. He's a dirtbag. A dirtbag. And I hope he comes before this committee. He's got a lot to answer to. He not only went after President Trump, he went after sitting senators. At the time, I was the chairman of the Republican Attorneys General Association. Ashley Moody was also on the executive board. He came after us. And also hundreds of other people who happened to be Republicans in the United States of America. What else happened? The number 2 prosecutor in Atlanta, a state prosecution of President Trump, which was ridiculous to begin with, somehow meets with the White House. The number 3 person at the Department of Justice leaves the number 3 job at the Department of Justice to go work for Alvin Bragg, a state prosecutor. Why is that? This was an effort to go after political opponents in America like we have never seen before. Judge Boasberg gave a speech about how he was going to thwart the Trump agenda before he got those cases. He was not the assignment judge. The D.C. courts have a daily assignment judge. He wasn't the assignment judge. He's on vacation. Somehow gets these cases at 1 a.m. Was he tipped off? Did somebody tell him these cases against President Trump and his agenda now were coming? I don't know. We should find that out. But Judge Boasberg, what he did to Senator Cruz and maybe other senators, absolutely, and I don't say this lightly, absolutely is worthy of impeachment proceedings. There has to be accountability. The American people have heard a lot about this, and you're going to hear more. We should have Watergate-style hearings on this for months. If we're ever going to root this out, we have to be serious about it, and consequences have to follow. Resignations, firings, criminal prosecutions. You simply can't, in this country, use the justice system to throw people in jail because they have a red jersey on or a blue jersey on.
Now, I understand there are some voices even from within our own ranks that are saying, I appreciate Ted Cruz and all the others with all this outrage. But where were they? This stuff was happening over and over again to regular people. It was happening to people like James Rosen all those years ago. Yeah. This needs to be investigated. There is nothing about this. And at the time, we were all outraged. And just because this is, in some cases, old news to people, don't let go of this. Also, my friends, breaking news, we don't need the sounder, because who knows how this is going to turn out. But the Department of Justice, according to the Post-Millennial, is demanding records on unexplained anomalies in the 2020 election from Fulton County. And Fulton County, that would be, for those you don't know, that's in Georgia. And that's Fannie Willis territory. That's right. That's all good old Fannie. The DOJ is now asking for records on the unexplained anomalies that took place in the 2020 election. Fulton County has not complied with a subpoena. They have thumbed their nose at a legal subpoena asking, hey, we'd like to see some records of what went on down there in Fulton County. My friends, if we have time when we get back, Pritzker's at it again. And this one is just annoying. James Golden, Snerdley. Fastest hour in American media, speeding through it all. Keep it right here. Do not go away.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Snerdley.
Rush.
Now, here's James Golden.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest politician in the state of Illinois, their governor, J.B. Pritzker.
The Department of Homeland Security claims their highest priority is to protect children. So today I have to ask them, please live up to those ideals. I've sent a letter to Kristi Noem and to the Department of Homeland Security leadership asking them to pause all of their federal agent operations for the entirety of the Halloween weekend.
What?
I'm asking for basic human decency.
What?
I think their response will be revealing. They've disrupted everything for more than 2 months already. Give the children.
All right, there.
Family.
All right, he's asking for a response. It didn't take Ice Barbie any time at all. She responded.
Yes, Governor Pritzker has asked for Operation Midway Blitz to be on pause for the holiday weekend. Are you willing to do that? And if you're not, why not?
No, we're absolutely not willing to put on pause any work that we will do to keep communities safe. The fact that Governor Pritzker is asking for that is shameful. And I think unfortunate that he doesn't recognize how important the work is that we do to make sure we're bringing criminals to justice and getting them off our streets, especially when we're going to send all of our kiddos out on the streets and going to events and enjoying the holiday season. We want to make sure that they're safe. And if you see, even up here, we have
so
individuals.
Ice Barbie is telling Pritzker, get lost. No, we're not going to stop down for holiday. When did holiday become a holiday weekend thing? I don't get it. All of a sudden, it's Halloween weekend. Let's stop federal law enforcement. And if Ice Barbie doesn't respond positively, that'll be very telling. These people are ridiculous.
Name ever.
Who's got the best name?
Ice Barbie.
Ice Barbie? I love that name. I love Ice Barbie. Ice Barbie. Otis Williams was born on this day. Otis Williams, one of the original Tempting Temptations. So many hits from the old until now. Otis Williams, happy birthday to you. Such great music. from The Temptations. James Golden, Snerdley with you, fastest hour in American media. We will get to so many things we didn't get to today, like Dana Bash trying to bash Speaker Johnson over the shutdown thing. Remember, we are still slated to look at No Queen's Day, as it's being called in some circles, on November 1st. Musically, on this day in 1971, John Lennon and the Plastic Ono Band went to number one across the pond. And this became one of his signature songs. Imagine. Remembering John Lennon and so many others today, just great music. The Temptations, Motown, Eddie Holland from Holland Dozier Holland, Jefferson Starship, Marvin Gaye, of course, part of the Motown crew, and John Lennon. Time for us to wrap it up today, my friends. May God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your family, and your loved ones. Special thanks to Kaylee McEnany for joining us today. She's quite a remarkable young lady, isn't she, folks? May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, always, my friends, for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God willing, we're back tomorrow for the it's Friday Halloween edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour as Halloween weekend begins. Can't wait. In the meantime, my friends, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?